Tony Buzbee's really out here playing dirty because he just dropped an edited tape of Shannon Sharpe, and the streets are talking.
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I may choke you in public.
But people are saying it's chopped up out of context and looking real funny in the light. Safe to say, though, Shannon is in the hot seat because all of these tapes came after he got hit with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from a woman named Gabriela Zuniga, aka Gabby. Gabby's accusing him of some very serious stuff: SA, emotional distress, and even the non-consensual recording and sharing of explicit videos. But she's not the only one taking legal action. Things are heating up on both sides.
I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee, who has targeted Jay-Z.
Now, her lawyer is that dude Tony Buzbee, who you know because of Diddy and Jay-Z. So this ain't his first rodeo, and he clearly came ready to play hardball. And at the very center of this legal chaos is an alleged S-tape that supposedly shows an encounter between Shannon and Gabby. This is where things start getting spicy. Shannon says that there's a 10-minute long video, but claims Buzbee only plans to release a 30-second clip of it. According to Shannon, that short snippet is edited just enough to make him look guilty and feed into certain racial stereotypes. He's basically saying this is all part of a targeted media strategy to ruin him. But there's a twist here too. Shannon says he doesn't even have a copy of the tape. According to him, if he had it, he'd drop it in full to clear his name. Instead, he's demanding that if this tape actually exists, it should be handed over to a third-party expert to determine if it's been edited or taken out of context. Shannon is definitely not holding back here. He's calling the lawsuit a shakedown and says this is nothing more than a glorified extortion attempt. In fact, he's gearing up to countersue for defamation, and he's calling out Buzbee for what he sees as a pattern, accusing him of targeting black men in high-profile cases. Now, in terms of the relationship, Shannon says that the encounter in question wasn't some random hookup. He claims it was consensual and part of a relationship that included role-playing and adult fantasies, not coercion or force. So, from his side, he feels like this whole narrative is being twisted into something it's not. But let's be real. This whole situation has become a media circus. On one hand, you've got Buzbee hinting at a scandalous video that might drop at any moment. And on the other hand, you've got Shannon, loud and clear, saying, play the whole tape, let people see the truth. Yet as of today, the only thing that's even been referenced publicly is that alleged 30-second clip. And you already know how the internet does. Clips, headlines, and speculation are flying like wildfire. But without the full video or solid proof from either side, it's all just allegations right now. No arrests, no charges, just one very loud, very messy legal showdown. So what's next? Well, unless that full tape comes out, or the court steps in to do some forensic analysis, we might be stuck in this limbo for a while. One thing's for sure though, Shannon isn't backing down. He's doubling down on his innocence and calling this whole thing a smear campaign. So, what do y'all think? Is Shannon being unfairly targeted, or is there more to the story that we haven't seen yet?
To make them feel better about themselves when they come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I do.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your and get you an old out there that can love you old.
Y'all, Auntie Monique is fed up, and when I say fed up, I mean she sat in front of Shannon Sharpe, looked him dead in his soul, and gave him the kind of old school front porch church lady talk that'll have you rethinking your whole life choices. So after the news broke that Shannon Sharpe was being accused of some very messy stuff with a 19-year-old woman and is now facing a whole $50 million lawsuit, people were shocked, but not Monique. Nope, Auntie came through with a word, and what she said, it had everyone talking. Okay, quick refresher because the timeline's been moving fast. Shannon Sharpe, 55 years old and known for being a Hall of Fame football player turned sports commentator and podcast king, got slapped with a $50 million lawsuit. Shannon and his legal team say it's all lies. He calls it extortion and says she's trying to ruin his name now that he's leveling up financially.
You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup. coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
Social media, completely divided. Some people are like, let's wait for the facts, while others are like, why is a grown man pushing 60 messing with a teenager? And that right there, that's where Monique enters the chat. Monique was a guest on Shannon's podcast, Club Shay Shay, not too long ago, before the lawsuit dropped. But baby, what she said aged like fine wine and came back around like karma on a world tour. During their interview, Monique gave Shannon one of the realest reality checks I've ever seen on camera.
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your and get you an old out there that can love you old.
At first, Shannon laughed it off, but Auntie was just getting warmed up, and then came the part that had everybody hollering.
I want you to go for the 4th round. You looking at her like, listen, you want some money to go to Starbucks? Yeah, because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that 4th round, she's gonna say, hold on.
Y'all, I had to pause the video because the way she said it, so matter of fact, so correct, so anti-core. As soon as clips of that interview resurfaced after the lawsuit news broke, Twitter went off. Some people even joked that Monique was the true prophet of 2024. How you give someone a public intervention before they even get caught up. But behind the laughs, there's real truth in what she said. Monique was talking about maturity, stability, and what real love actually looks like when you're grown. Not just looking the part, but actually living in it. The bigger picture here, this moment between Shannon and Monique wasn't just funny, it was important, because this whole idea that older men chasing after young girls is harmless or normal, that's a conversation that's been long overdue. Monique wasn't shaming him, she was schooling him. She was talking about peace, health, rest, and the kind of relationship that feeds your soul. She was talking about building something real with someone who understands you, not just someone who looks good on your arm and wears matching sneakers to Coachella. And in light of this lawsuit, everything she said just hits different now. Whether Shannon is innocent or not, this situation is going to stick with him. People are looking at him differently. And now that Monique has gone viral for calling it before it even happened, baby, this is going to follow him for a while. His podcast is still doing numbers, but the court of public opinion, that's a whole different beast. And when Auntie Monique speaks, people listen. So, yeah, that laughter's feeling real uncomfortable. The 19-year-old scandal is still unfolding. The lawsuit is still pending. And Monique, she's somewhere sipping tea, watching it all play out like, I told you, baby. Because sometimes you don't need a lawyer or a PR team. You need an auntie. Anyways, smash that like and subscribe button and check out the next video on your end screen for more celeb gossip.